Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what made me fall in love with stories as a learner, I would say when I was a kid, I was always into textbooks, initially. I wasn't a story teller, or I did not enjoy stories much. In fact, I still remember when I used to go for library sessions, I used to just check what my friends are getting and, like pick up two, three novels which are similar and go back home. Then we had to submit this summary next week. I used to go skim through the last section and just submit that. But I remember a few titles that really changed my life. And also, you have certain people in your life who inspire you to read more. So that's how it changed. I had one of these teachers who inspired me to pick up my first book. And that was back in the day, Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities.
Wow.
I was also reading the world history back then. So that book really, helped me understand Renaissance like in a whole different way. And I could just literally picture the whole thing in front of me. It helped me in my studies, plus it made me dive into the world of stories. And then it was no looking back. So fast forward to today, I am a homeschooler. I have a 4-year-old in the house. So when it came to reading for my child, I wanted him to feel the same but early on in life. And thanks to all the authors we have these days, you have so many kids authors out there. I could do it with books with him as early as 3 months, 4 months. We started reading so early, and right now, we have a house full of books. Like it's more than 1,000, 1,200 titles. So I believe, yeah, it just triggers from one thing, and then it goes and into it becomes a habit you cannot really say no to.
Let go of. So beautiful. And for me also, Madhurima, it began with a person. So my grandmother actually. I remember like we would, go through our whole day and work and this and that. And then me and my sister would sleep next to her and we would fight like, that she has to be in the middle and we both would be on one side. And no one wanted to be on this corner because that's like the edge of the bed. So we used to be scared. So it was very cute, the whole thing. And I think one of the most beautiful things that she did for me is she introduced me to gods through stories. So she would tell me the stories of Krishna and of, Shiva. And I think the way that she said it with so much of innocence and devotion that unknowingly they became my truths. Like she would tell me that, you should always be good because this. And it just kind of stayed with me because she made it like a story. If she had just told me, oh, you should be good, I don't think I would do it. But because she would tell me with these, gods and goddesses story, I think it's such an integral part of my growing up. And no wonder today, I'm an author where I love telling stories to people because I feel that it's probably the best thing we can do, with our young ones, especially. So
So
beautiful.
true, so true.
Yeah.
So in my case, I would say stories really help, whether it's a child or an adult. I think both can take a lot of, meaning, or they can take a lot from stories, learn a lot of things from stories. Because, like I said, a book like Tale of Two Cities helped me with my history learning. There were so many things like I still remember when I used to read Famous Five back in the day. It was a series book which helped me understand thrillers, understand so many words, increase my vocabulary. Back in the day we didn't have so many options. During those days there were a few set series of books, and we had these classic authors we used to go back to. But when I look at my child, from making him understand Indian food items to global history, to you name it, anything can be taught through books. In fact, I follow this profile on Instagram. She's an Afro American Instagrammer, and the name of her profile is I have a book for that. And I so like
Wow.
follow that, because I really think that the world of books is like Google for kids. You can just figure out whatever you want to teach them, whatever, it can be anything, and you have a book for it right now. So from making my child understand about biryani to making him understand about cricket to anything, I always go and look for books on the same title. In fact, we also encourage reading before going on a trip. So understanding the physical location, understanding the people of that place, it has really helped him. Even as a toddler, as a preschooler, he knows a lot of things related to a place. Like last time we visited Kanha in December. So there's this book on Kanha which I found out from a Pune-based publication, and I literally got it for him. So we read about the animals in that sanctuary. We understood the environment, the climate, and so when he went there, he could literally live it. Like he could just feel it 10 times more. So I think
Wow.
it's definitely a great learning medium. Never, like nothing can replace books.
I so agree with you. And all the people who are saying, do people don't read anymore? I want you to watch this because here are two book lovers and book writers as well who want to tell you that, so I mean, I think for me, it's just that when you read a story, you feel so much more emotionally connected to something versus when you are just, being told in general about it. Like, so one of the first few books that I read was Mallory Towers, and it was all about, this girl living in a, Mallory Towers, a residential school. I think I literally felt so one with the character, and I experienced like the warmth of friendship, betrayals, and they used to, in the midnight have these parties. And literally, I think my childhood got filled with so much of what was going on in Mallory Towers or, with Enid Blyton, that I never felt like I needed so much of it outside of me. I think books literally completed me growing up. I think that's what it did for me. And I wish everyone, like you said, that there's a book for everything. And I wish we could just do that for children because we all want to limit their screen time. We don't want to give it to them. Let's make it up by giving them so many amazing books that literally they don't miss it, right? So I
Yeah,
think
so true. I
it's
think my
amazing.
child has learned about, a lot of these cartoons through books. Like he has never seen a Peppa Pig cartoon. He
Yes.
knows it through books. And we are going to watch a Peppa Pig play in a couple of weeks. And I can proudly say that he'll sit over there, he'll connect it with the books. And I'm super happy about it that we
Yes.
haven't seen the cartoon, he's just going to see the theater. So
Amazing.
it's
Even my daughter, we've not introduced, she's 18 months, we've never introduced her to the screen. So literally books are her windows to the world, as of now. So I think that's amazing. Beautiful. Yes.
Oh, if I have to say one story or storybook, this is a tough one for readers, to select that one book or story. But I think my early teens kind of transformed. I'll name two actually. One is the Harry Potter series, of course, because it's a great mix of fantasy and reality. Because that was the one fantasy I read which I could connect with reality. Because she had drafted it so well. The world was hidden, but there was a world of muggles. So there was something she was connecting with the real world. And at the same time, from Indian authors, I cannot just say a no to Ruskin Bond. I mean, I could just open his book, go to a nature place without being physically there. His books have always been a pleasure. So these were the two storybooks which I loved. And for my child, I actually have this with me. This is Masala Chai. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
It's masala chai, and why I love this book is because we are chai lovers, and I
Hmm.
wanted my child to connect with chai, but I can't give him chai right now; he's too small. So I wanted to find a read which he would really connect with the passion of making chai at home and how it's a family thing in our country. So I found this book and I got it shipped to India, and we still love it, because he knows the recipe of chai. He's never had a cup of chai, but he knows that chai brings people together in the house. And yeah, so I cannot forget this book ever because it's been one of my favorites since
Wow.
the beginning. Yeah.
So I think for me, I would have to say it's somehow the story, I mean, as basic as it is, but the story of Cinderella has
Ah,
always, like, it was probably the first story that my parents read out to me, and it's always stayed with me. I think it had so many life lessons, in it. Like, I think one thing that got ingrained through stories in me is that good will win. So, somewhere, even if something wrong is happening in my life, even as an adult, I always feel this can't be the end because good only has to win. And I
Right.
think it's so deeply ingrained in me that even now my mind cannot comprehend, like, unless it's happily ever after, it's not the ending, you know? So, as simple as that, and how I think the whole way the story flows and, the whole drama, it's such a simple one. Like, who even, but if there's ever a Cinderella movie or there's another Cinderella version, somehow I read it just for that nostalgia feeling that it was the first story that ever mattered a lot to me. And if I have to say the name of a book, I would say one of them is The Becoming by Michelle Obama. I
Ah,
she so her whole journey of being a black and being the first you know first lady who was a black in America. I I don't know why I always lose myself to her story, and I love it a lot. And it's really inspired me to be my own person a lot more and speak my mind, even if I'm surrounded by people who don't look at me as if I belong. So I think that's been one very big game changing book for me. Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. Michelle Obama is so inspiring.
Yeah.
If I have to say one tip to create a powerful story, I would say that there needs to be some connect with the real world. I mean, I love fantasy fiction. I can go all crazy about it, but at the same time, I do need that one thread which will connect it to the real world and make me feel that okay, this everything is not fantasy here. I can connect it with my real life because as readers, sometimes we get blown away with the story so much we don't want to believe that no, this is not real. Oh, this is just a book I'm reading. I feel that is a great thing which authors can keep in their mind while writing, no matter what you write in fiction. And if it's a non-fiction, I believe it definitely needs to be inspiring if it can connect you with your real life. I think that is the one thing in
Yeah.
my case.
And I think I'm completely in agreement because that's my tip as well. That I think a story becomes powerful by how deeply you've lived it. I've seen my own writing, like if I'm writing something fantasy or I'm writing some non-fiction fiction, sometimes it may not be as powerful as a truth that I've lived. So suppose when I talk of something which I have gone through in my life, or an example or a story or a experience, be it very very painful or very very positive, I think the way the reader connects to it is so different versus when I'm just creating something out of my mind. And I've seen this, like I've had someone, I wrote this one article of a story, and at one particular point while writing that story, I started crying. And I sent it out, to be published. About 10 people, Madhurima, called me and said, you know what, at this point, we cried. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
stunned that, okay, the exact para where I cried while writing somehow went into them and created that power in them. So I really think a powerful story is created when you've lived that story. And I think,
So true.
yeah. So it was so wonderful talking to you about everything. I think I would just want to end with something, Madhurima. It's not in the, we've not discussed this, but tell me about homeschooling. Like, why did you opt for homeschooling versus a school? And what are some of the benefits that you're noticing? It'll be lovely for our people to hear about it.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So initially, we weren't planning homeschooling. Like, I didn't even know about this word. I'll be very honest. The only thing I knew from day one was that the fact that I liked being with my child and I liked learning again with him because while I was teaching him a lot of things in those early, 1 year, we teach them colors, we make them walk, we chota chota, like little steps we take to them becoming learners. I then told my husband that maybe, we can skip preschool for him. Let me continue the journey. And then he said that, okay, let's look into it. But still we went and started hunting for schools. But one thing which I felt in most of the schools that I went in my vicinity, I think homeschooling is a very family-based decision. Also, it's something that needs to be done, in harmony with everyone in the family because this cannot be just my decision or my spouse's decision. We live in a complete family with my parents, and everyone needs to be in sync. Only then a homeschooling family comes into play.
Mhm.
And when we went to schools, we really didn't like the audio visual approach that is said these days, because audio visual for schools have become literally like adding screens in the room with speakers and showing things to kids. It's become very normal in many schools these days. We didn't like that approach, so we kind of questioned the system. Then we did it back and forth with the few schools. We didn't like it, so then we thought that okay, let's take a step back, let's probably start it at home. That's when I came across the term homeschooling. That's when I started getting into the community. I looked into it and I saw that India is already doing it. There are many communities in India which does homeschooling. There is also unschooling happening in a lot of communities. So I came across the terms, and then there was no looking back. Now, having said that, my child was never into screens. We never thought about screens ever. Like I said, we are a book-based family. So, I came across this mom who has an artist in the house. Like her child is a very famous artist, and so I kind of asked her this. I came across a workshop and where I asked her, how are you schooling your child? Because when it comes to building their skills, which is not related to studies, how do you manage the study thing at home? So she suggested a virtual school to me, and I was like, virtual school, I mean, I took a step back. This has got to do with screens. So then she said that try it once, and you'll not regret it. So I looked into the school, and now my child is a part of a virtual school, which is helping me in my homeschooling journey, because all the doubts that I have, how
Mhm.
to do its curriculum, because I'm not an expert. I'm not a Montessori expert or a Waldorf expert who can just take decisions instantly. For me, having a help from that side really helps, because that way I have the confidence that I'm going the right way. I have people in my contacts who I can reach out to, and also in the homeschooling community, the best part is your child learns through nature a lot. So we save a lot of time by being, the cutting down on school hours, but we are increasing it with outdoor activities, spending more time, taking more vacations, if I may say so, because school can be anywhere. So yeah, that's about it. That's how we chose homeschooling, and we're going to take it year by year.
Yeah,
I also want to emphasize on that, because many people think that okay, you're homeschooling now, so what about later? If 2 3
yeah,
years later you don't want to do it, so we can always take a step back. You can always put your child to a school that's always there.
right.
So it's just a child-led learning more than terming it as homeschooling. What your child wants is what we want. So I feel they learn the best when you just let them be, and trigger their learning based on what they want to learn.
Beautiful. I think that's a very different and a unique perspective. And I think it takes a lot of courage to do something that, billions of other people are not doing. So it's interesting. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm all for, so I'm going to be putting my child in a Waldorf school where it's completely nature led. It's again very, not very structured learning. But my only reason to put her in a school would be that how would she meet other children otherwise? Like I don't
Uh-huh.
have the, setup, and I'm not in a joint family. I'm a nuclear family. So I want her to experience other children. But other than that, everything that you spoke of is completely like what I'd want to give my child as well. So
Mhm.
thank you so
So in
much.
my case, I have put him into, a lot of
Yeah.
activities. Like, no, I wouldn't say classes, because these are like very child-led again. It's
Mhm.
like he goes to a pizza workshop to learn about how to make pizza from scratch, and he gets to meet other kids in the process.
Right,
So
right.
these are the kind of things we have been doing that is helping him to mingle with
Become
other kids.
social.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. Beautiful. And I've also opted to not send my child to a play school. And it's so scary, Madhurima, because literally from the minute I think a child turns 12 months, the pressure is like,
Oh.
go down. It's like, which school? This is, are you putting in this one? Are you putting in clay? I'm like, wait, I don't think my child's ready to go like to school yet. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that someone has a 4-year-old and it's perfectly fine and he's growing on books. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that is absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's required. I mean, definitely for some parents, it becomes a necessity if they are not at home. I mean,
Correct.
it's not a necessity according to
Sure.
me. It's based on your family and your approach. That's it.
Beautiful. I think a lot of people will find a lot of value with this conversation. Thank you so much for being with us, Madhurima.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you. We'll take
Thank
this
you.
offline and we'll be in touch.
Sure, sure. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Raju. Thank you.